He's staring right at James. James wants to.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
With all the changes that's been made to NBA 2K19, one thing that has never changed this year was this animation. And I want to give 2K their props on this one, because whether they know it or not, and whether you hate this animation or not, it adds an element of old shit. Because when you see this animation, you already know that you didn't get a full contest, if any. And if the shooter timed it right, it's most definitely going in. I call this the no defense contest. And it's a real thing. It's not something 2K just threw in the game. You see this happen all the time when players are trying to close out. And we all know that feeling of despair you get when you see this animation and your player sprints out, and in that few milliseconds, you just praying your opponent didn't green the shot. For me personally, this animation, it makes, you know that thing that happens when your stomach drops, like when you get some bad news, or literally when you're on a roller coaster and the ride drops, that drop you get in your stomach, that right there, that's the feeling. Now think back to release, when we were still figuring everything out and learning the defense and the ins and outs of the game. How many times you shouted out to your friends or to yourself, "My hands were up," playing some type of sharp or stretch who just did their green light celebration as your player was sprinting out with his hands up. But sometimes you get lucky and people just miss even with that animation. And when that happens, you just got to be thankful, because we know when we see that, it's no longer in your hands as a defender. It's 100% up to the shooter if he timed his jumper right or not. And there's a bunch of variations of the animation in this game, but there's one in particular that really means you did an oopsie. When you get a good contest in 2K, it doesn't look as desperate as the sprinting with the hands up animation. A good contest usually happens when you're close enough to a player where your player can only take like 1 or 2 steps. And every year we see shooting bills run back and forth on the perimeter to get open. But this year, if they catch you sleeping off the ball, they're going to get just enough space that any contest that you can manage to get will probably result in a no defense contest. And I'm sure we've all seen variations of the little fake drive move to get your man running to the basket just so that you can stop and shoot a 3. In Park, my team, everywhere, I'm pretty sure we've all seen this. The best thing that I've found to kind of counter or at least minimize how often I'm getting this animation is great defenders, of course, because higher shot contest means that your shot contest is going to do more, which means less of that animation. And of course, the same goes for wingspan. And while even great defenders in this game can still get the animation, playing with guys like Giannis, Kawhi, KD, or Bron, or any of those guys who have the defensive ability to cover a lot of ground very quickly is satisfying. It's just something that feels good about being able to lock a player up and forcing them into bad contested shots. So far, I've seen that the 2K20 contest system is supposed to be different from 2K19, and I imagine they've added more animations for defense, maybe like a different type of contest system, like how at one point they had triangle was to block, and if you hold turbo with triangle, that would be an aggressive block. And of course, if this animation returns to the game, and if it does, will it have the same function of being sort of a fake contest? And it sounds like 2K is making a bunch of changes to the game this year, but we won't know until September, of course. So the only thing we can really do is just wait it out and hope we get some more news, man. But that's all I got for y'all today, man. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. And as always, I'm D Brown Shanghai, and I'm up out of here, man.